Hi there, I'm Rayanna, aka Fraser Ray. I've been trying to get this channel up and running and get this first video out. I put one out the other day, a 13-minute video introducing my channel, which is going to be called A Shattered Spirit, Shattered Soul. And what I found out is the microphone on YouTube is muted and I can't get it unmuted. So I'm having to use my phone and my iPad, which is fine with me. It works. But I need to share my story. I've been asked by God to share my story, and so here I am sharing my story. I've also been asked through my little army of Christ out there who've been supporting me. Thank you. You know who you are, all of you, trying to egg me on for 2 weeks now. I'm a bit shy, so I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna make this happen. And here's why I'm going to do this. Because Christ has never let me down, and I'm not going to let him down. We're coming together. We're coming together. And God needs us to be here right now on this earth. Many of us are here. We're star seeds, light workers. We're spirit beings, magnetic, harmonic spirit beings. I'll explain that now. 2 years ago, I was singing. I had been listening to Leland, the Waymaker song, and I heard this voice saying to me, "Sing to me, sing Sophia to me." And I started singing to Sophia. I didn't know who Sophia was. I just knew the name Sophia. Well, about 8 months later, I was in an Orthodox church. My husband at that time was Orthodox, and I heard Christos Sophia in the liturgy, and I didn't know what that meant. And so I went on a mission to find out who and what Christos was, and of course, which is part of our universal dome. It's energy of Christ, and it's also energy within us called Christos. That's part of the spirit of Christ. And the more that I learned about Christ energy through Christ consciousness, because I had started meditation 4 years earlier, I had been told to be still before that, and I became still through my community because I wasn't happy where I was at that time, and everybody around me just didn't seem real anymore. It just seemed like my life was in a dog chasing the tail type atmosphere all the time. So as I went on and the stillness started going into more meditation with God, speaking biblical verses. I was reading the Bible at the time, and I found out also through many other Bibles that our Bible has been rewritten many, many times, and scriptures and words have been changed in them. And I had a hard time with that. That kind of turned me a little bit away from Christ. But Christ never quit on me. He stuck with me. And as I got closer to Christ and to the Mother Sophia Christ, because I started understanding who she was, I started getting words from them. I started hearing more from Sophia, and Sophia was giving me prophetic messages about earthquakes and floods and how she feels about everything and everyone. And so did the Father. The Father started saying we need to come together in love and kindness. And I started sharing this on Truth Social with some people and on Twitter at one point in time. Shared it with family, friends, and I told them my angels are always around me. I have angels, the angelic realm. They are always with me. Michael and the Melchizedek crew are who I belong with. Melchizedek. You know that name? You need to know that name. Archangel Michael came to me first, and then it was Joseph. Then it was Sophia. Then it was Jesus. Yeshua. He likes Yeshua. There's Raoul, who is Saint Raoul. He is an archangel. And the more that I heard, and the more I tried to explain to people what was going on around me, they would look at me with blank stares, and I got quiet, and I stayed quiet. The day that Jesus came to me and said, "Sit down on your couch," I had prayed to him for deliverance, for the Holy Spirit to come within me a year earlier. And my Holy Spirit changed my life that day, that evening. He heard me. Christ heard me. And I cried with him, and he cried with me. A year later, when he came to me again, he said, "I want to read the Bible with you, and I want to show you some scriptures, and I want to show you why you're in the house in which you're in." And I sat down with him, and he said, "Number one, you prayed for this house. Number two, you wrote down everything that you wanted in a house, and you got exactly what you wanted." He said, "And you did it also for love, because you wanted a home to be able to take care of your dying father-in-law. That you were working to get your home back that you had lost. And you had come to me and asked for me for this home." And he showed me every reason why the house was chosen for me through him. Number one, I love butterflies. I think butterflies are beautiful. And my door to my sitting room, where I have a mom's room with everything surrounding me with my mother things, had butterflies on it. And I could look out my window of my living room and had an arch with honeysuckle all over it, beautiful orange and yellow honeysuckle, and smelled so good, and jasmine out the window, and a bird feeder so I can watch my birds. Jesus did this with me. He sat with me and did this with me. Then he said, "I want you to get up and I want you to come see something." And he took me and he said, "Look at the back door. What do you see?" And I had already started meditation through the Christ consciousness 5 years earlier. And he showed me the chakra system that was on my stained glass door on the back door. And then he showed me the crosses that were on there. 7 crosses. Then he took me through my house. He says, "You have your meditation room, and all around is angels. You have your cherubim all around you. You have your feathers, and the door of your cage that I put my feathers in was always open, because you see, we be free, sovereign beings. And I believe our angels, all the feathers that my angels sent to me, I kept in this gilded cage. But I left the door open." He showed me this. Then he took me out to my front porch, where I have wind chimes. And I could go out on that front porch on the stillest day with no wind, and those chimes would chime. And they're in the key of C, and they're called clarion chimes. He said, "What did you name your 2 bushes that you brought back to life through your hands in prayer and song. What did you name them? I said Metatron and Sandalphon. Those are two archangels. He says, what did you name your magnolia tree? I said, oh, Mary Magdalene, Christ's wife. He says, what did you name your cedar tree in the middle of your cul-de-sac? I said, Abraham. He said, what did you name your red oak? I said, Luke. He said, what did you name your tree in front of your house, the other hard oak? I said, I think it's Aaron. I'm not sure. He says, no, it's David. It's David. You forgot. I smiled. Then he said, what did you name the old tree out by your garage? I said, Henry. He says, Henry is one of the first ones that wrote our Bible, almost to the truth of what was given to him before it was all changed after Constantine. And I thanked him. Then we went back into my home and we sat down and he started teaching me Matthew and Mark and why they were so important to know. This is why I'll never give up on Christ. This is my truth. This is my truth. Because of my truth, my marriage fell apart. I was considered crazy, whacked. I'm not. I'll never give up on God because he never gave up on me. He loved me. He's putting me back together again. And I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of me. Very proud of the people at my church who loved me unconditionally and took me in and didn't even know my name. I thank them. They're my family. Unconditionally love me. Just like God. I forgive everybody that's ever hurt me. I love you all. Because each and every one of us that have ever hurt anybody, we've learned a lesson somehow. Just like Christ did when he was beat up and spit on, harassed, called different names, judged before anybody knows you. That's what we're not supposed to be doing, people. God's mad. He's given me messages. He wants us to love each other. He wants us to come together as one unit. He wants us to help each other out, accept each other for who and what we believe in, what we know, to strengthen us in his word. And I'm learning. I'm happy to learn. I'm going to continue learning. And I'm supported by God's army because you're around me. I will never be ashamed to say Christ. I will always say God is real. I will say it on the tallest mountain, and I will sing it wherever I'm at. And never be ashamed. He is my hero. He is my salvation. He is my light. And that light has been through a very dark tunnel. And it's taken a long time to get to the end of that tunnel and pull myself back out. And I did it through Christ. No one else. I didn't have anybody else. No one understood me. No one else. When you get PTSD and you can't get counseling or help from your city and the officials, and the only place that you can go to get help is Christ. And he tells you what church to go to get help because of my beliefs as spirit being and more Indian-based being in the energy of the Christ. I'm more American Indian in my beliefs than any other religion. That's why I'm connected to the Mother, the Son, and God. Magnetic energy. We are spirit beings. This is our flesh body. I'm a conduit for Christ. I get prophetic words and hear things. I'm supposed to share those things. That's why I'm doing this. I'm going to share that. But I'm also going to help heal people because I've been gifted in healing through the harmonics of our body. That's how I communicate with the Mother, and she's teaching me how to heal bodies and heal myself so that I can teach others how to heal themselves through their harmonics of their body. We can do this as a nation too. We can help heal the earth. The more we send love and the more we sing and have happiness and joy and laughter around us, the more all of us are going to be able to heal. And we can bring this nation together. We can bring this world together through all of this. And I'd like to share it with everybody. And I'd like all of us to share it together so we can become one. Where we go one, right? We're all one. The oneness of Christ, the oneness of the energy, love, vibration of the Mother, the Father, and the Son, who becomes the Trinity of the Holy Spirit. 12 above, 12 below. It's quite the journey. It's a lot to teach, and I'm willing to help. There's many of us out there that know all this, and there's many of us that want to come together, so I'm going to open up this channel down the road after I get my story out to other people to come in and talk about their journey and how they got to be healers, how they got to be psychic mediums, how they got to hear, God or the Mother. That's what I want to do. And I want us all to come together as one nation under God, believing and knowing that us crazies, we love God. We love God. And we want to share Him. On that note, I want to end this with Psalms 73:26. And this is what it speaks to me, is because of me being so shattered in my heart, in my spirit, and in my soul. This reminds me of what Christ has done for me. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart, my portion forever. That's how I feel. And I thank Him, and I'm grateful. And the more gratitude we give, the more connectivity we have with the Spirit. Thank you, everybody. Bear with me. Hopefully I'll get better at this. I love you all very, very much. I thank you for supporting me in everything you do. And hopefully I won't be repetitive, and I'll learn how to get better and make these shorter videos. I send love to everyone. Be blessed.